Think about every iconic Tarantino scene that made your heart race. That moment in Pulp Fiction when Vincent reaches for his gun, time slowing to a crawl, every second pregnant with consequence. Your life right now? It's exactly like that, except you're not pulling the trigger. Every night, you go to bed knowing tomorrow could be different, yet you keep replaying the same scene. But tonight's different. Tonight, I'm going to show you a formula of self-improvement that nobody's talking about. It's raw, it's unconventional, and it draws from the same psychological principles that make Tarantino's best scenes unforgettable. This isn't about motivation quotes or morning routines. This is about engineering a breaking point that forces evolution. Look around your room right now. That stack of unfinished projects, those goals written months ago, the potential slowly dying on the vine. They're all extras in a movie where you're supposed to be the protagonist. But you've fallen into the most dangerous trap a man can face: comfortable mediocrity. You're stuck in what I call the Mexican standoff with yourself. Your ambition has a gun pointed at your excuses, your fear is aiming at your dreams, and your discipline is wavering, finger on the trigger but never squeezing. Every day you wait for the perfect moment, treating your life like an infinite director's cut where you can always reshoot the scene tomorrow. But here's the brutal truth. You're not in pre-production anymore. The cameras are rolling, the film is burning, and the world isn't going to yell cut while you get your act together. Let's break down how you're going to transform this standoff into forward momentum, and it starts with understanding what Tarantino knew better than anyone: the power of engineered tension. In his films, tension isn't random. It's meticulously crafted to force action. Your self-improvement journey needs the same deliberate architecture. First, you need to create what I call the three-way tension method. This is where discipline becomes non-negotiable because you've eliminated all other options. Here's exactly how you execute this. Tonight, you're going to sit down and write 3 specific consequences that will automatically trigger if you don't hit your target within 24 hours. These aren't gentle nudges. They're career-altering, relationship-defining, or financially significant outcomes. Maybe it's sending that email to your boss about the promotion you've been avoiding, telling that woman you've been hesitating to approach how you feel, or finally publishing that business proposal you've been sitting on. The key is making the consequence real and immediate. No more, "I'll start Monday," or "I'll do it when I'm ready." You're creating a situation where inaction becomes more painful than action. This is where most self-improvement advice fails. It relies on positive motivation alone. But Tarantino never made his scenes intense by showing what good things might happen. He made them unforgettable by making the cost of inaction unbearable. The second step is setting up what I call your witness system. Tell 3 people who matter to you about your 24-hour commitment. Not just anyone. Choose people whose respect you crave, whose disappointment would sting. Give them specific instructions to check in at exact times. This creates the same kind of tension you feel when watching a scene where multiple characters are watching each other, waiting for someone to make the first move. The final piece is eliminating your escape routes. Delete your social media apps, clear your schedule, do whatever it takes to create an environment where you have no choice but to face your targets. This isn't about motivation. It's about engineering a situation where discipline becomes your only viable option. What made Reservoir Dogs legendary wasn't just the heist. It was the unbreakable code between professionals. Your transformation demands the same level of unwavering commitment. This is where we implement what I call the Reservoir Dogs principle, a system that makes discipline automatic rather than optional. First, you need to understand that professionals don't negotiate with themselves. Every morning, thousands of men wake up telling themselves they'll try to be better. But trying is just permission to fail disguised as effort. Instead, you're going to establish what I call your non-negotiable trinity. These are 3 foundational standards that, like Mr. White's loyalty to his crew, become the core of your identity. Take out your phone right now and set 3 alarms. The first one is your principal alarm. When it goes off, you write down the 1 professional standard you're going to maintain today no matter what. Maybe it's speaking up in every meeting, making that extra sales call when everyone else has gone home, or spending 2 hours on your side business before touching anything else. The second alarm is your pressure check. This is when you review how much intensity you're bringing to your tasks. Are you just going through the motions? Or are you operating with the same focus as a professional during a critical operation? The third alarm is your professional audit. This is when you look at your actions and ask yourself if they align with the caliber of man you're committed to becoming. But here's where most men go wrong. They treat these standards like guidelines instead of laws. In Reservoir Dogs, breaking the code meant death. In your journey, breaking these standards means the death of your potential, the slow decay of your self-respect. The key is understanding that these aren't just tasks to check off, they're markers of your identity. When you start viewing discipline this way, motivation becomes irrelevant. You don't need motivation to breathe, and you won't need it to maintain your standards once they become part of who you are. This is how you build an unbreakable professional code that transforms discipline from a daily struggle into an automatic response. The most dangerous scene in Death Proof isn't when stuntman Mike is chasing his victims, it's when they decide to turn around and chase him. That's the exact moment we're going to engineer in your life right now. Most men approach self-improvement like they're building safety nets, creating comfortable fallback plans that actually enable their mediocrity. We're going to flip that script. The first step is what I call burning the boats with style. You need to deliberately destroy your comfort zone, not by making reckless decisions, but by strategically eliminating your retreat options. Here's how. Take your biggest goal, the one that's been sitting in the back of your mind while you play it safe. Now, instead of planning how to achieve it, spend the next hour systematically closing off every escape route that's been keeping you in perpetual preparation mode. If you're starting a business, set a firm date to quit your job. If you're pursuing a career change, email your application to the top companies in your field tonight. If you're working on your physique, throw out every piece of clothing that fits your current body. The second phase is implementing what I call controlled chaos theory. Most men try to eliminate uncertainty from their lives, but uncertainty is what makes Tarantino's scenes so powerful. The key is learning to harness it. Start by intentionally putting yourself in situations where you're slightly overwhelmed. Take on projects you're not quite ready for. Speak up in meetings when you're not completely sure of your answer. The goal isn't to be reckless, it's to develop the ability to thrive in discomfort. This is where real discipline is forged. The final component is transforming fear from an obstacle into fuel. Most self-improvement advice tells you to overcome fear. That's amateur thinking. A professional knows that fear is just misused energy. Every time you feel that gut-wrenching anxiety about taking action, that's not your body telling you to stop. It's your survival instinct begging to be channeled into something meaningful. Use it. Let it sharpen your focus. Let it drive you deeper into your tasks. This is how you death-proof your goals, not by eliminating risk, but by becoming someone who's more dangerous than the challenges they face. The transformation you'll experience isn't just about checking off goals. It's about becoming the kind of man who makes everyone in the room feel the shift in energy when he walks in. This isn't theoretical. When you apply this formula, you'll notice the changes within days. Your colleagues will start deferring to your judgment naturally. That woman you've had your eye on will sense the difference in how you carry yourself. Your bank account will reflect your new standards. But the real payoff? It's in those quiet moments when you look in the mirror and see someone who finally aligned their actions with their potential. Someone who stopped waiting for permission to become exceptional. This is what happens when discipline stops being a choice and becomes who you are. The clock starts now. Your life-changing mission begins in the next 24 hours. No delays, no excuses, no retreat. Take that piece of paper and write down your 3 commitments. Make them bold, make them terrifying, make them real. I'm talking about the kind of promises that make your heart race and your palms sweat. The ones that'll force you to become unstoppable. Blast past those mental barriers. Crush your excuses. Dominate your fears. This isn't just another video you'll forget tomorrow. This is your wake-up call, your turning point, your origin story. Drop a comment right now with your 3 standards. Let the world witness your transformation. Because tomorrow, you'll either be the man who seized his destiny or the one who let another opportunity slip away. The choice is yours. The moment is now. Your masterpiece awaits. Time to unleash your potential. Action.